Hello, ladies, gents, and anyone in between. Today I am going to be talking about vocoders, what they are, how to use them, and ways to use them outside of just the traditional way with your vocal. I've been hopping around and testing out different video types to do on this channel, but I feel like ultimately what I care about most is music production, so I'm so sorry if you are one of the people who are here for covers or vloggy videos. I feel like those will happen occasionally, but I think primarily it's going to be music production tutorials and then my music production. If that doesn't apply to you, don't worry, let's get started. Okay, so for starters, it can be helpful to understand what exactly a vocoder is. To put it as simple as possible, it's made up of two elements. You have a carrier and a modulator. A vocoder will take a carrier sound and then alter it using the tonal information of the modulator. Your vocoder is broken down into over the frequency spectrum into different bands. The more bands you have, the more precise points of modulation you're gonna have. And as you'll see when I demonstrate shortly, this ends up being a more clear or defined sound. Another great thing about vocoder effects is they either come stock for free with your DAW, which in my case Ableton does, or you can get a bunch of free ones online, or they're pretty cheap and super cool effect. So anyway, take a look at our vocoder. We have different carrier types, which we'll talk about. We have unvoiced. This refers to kind of like the sibilance sounds you'll get in voice. So if somebody's speaking or singing, you might hear S's or T's or P's pop up. And what the vocoder modulator tries to do is smooth out the signal, thereby reducing the amplitude of that sibilance, but sometimes that takes away the clarity of the words. So you'll see we can play around with this toggle. If the signal isn't clear enough, you might want to add back in some of those unvoiced frequencies. Bands we talked about, this is just adding literal different bands across the process signal. So you can think of it just like if you were to pull up an EQ, these little nodules here are called bands. So 4 bands would look like that. And then, yeah, you can take it from there. You have an attack and release, so that's how fast you're modulating the signal. Formant kind of refers to tonality, I think, or tone is the best way to explain it. And then dry or wet knob, how much of the process signal you're blending with the original signal. I'll talk about a couple different methods, but let's do the traditional one first. For starters, you're just gonna need a vocal or a voice memo. So I just have literally me saying, "This is a vocoder. You are using a vocoder." You got your voice memo, and then you're also gonna need a sound to modulate it with. I recommend synthesizers if you're looking for that classic Daft Punk 80s feel. So let's go ahead and just grab a stock one. I love Ableton's stock instruments. I really don't have a lot of other ones. I'm also very cheap. So that plays into it. But let me just lay down a basic chord progression. Great. Okay, so you're gonna take your voice memo and you are gonna plop on your vocoder onto the voice memo track or the vocal, whatever you want to take the transient information from. Okay, and you're gonna go to carrier. You are going to click external and then select the audio from your synth. This one is called glowing filaments. So note that you will hear them both play at the same time. If you're looking just to hear the blended signal, you're gonna wanna set your synth track to negative infinity so you don't hear anything. So then once you've done that, it will sound like this. So a couple things you can adjust. For one, bands. Generally speaking, more bands, the more clarity you're gonna get. I also like to play around with formant. I feel like this could be a really cool thing to automate too during live performance. if you're a DJ or want to do that, or even in a track, you could totally do this, but worth playing around with.
This is a vocoder. You are using a vocoder. Vocoder. This is a vocoder.
And you'll see, if I turn up unvoiced, you start to get those,
Vocoder.
like, the harsh S sounds. So that's just to demonstrate what that does. I'm also just a sucker for some reverb, so there we go. And then you have the vocoder. So that's the first way. Okay, the next way I want to talk about is using your vocoder to modulate with noise. So I think this is very helpful. A lot of producers use white noise, especially like in the chorus of songs, transitions to like build up momentum and energy, all that good stuff. Let me go ahead and just grab a drum loop to this cute little stock tech house one. Why not? Okay, just to show you how the concept works. So I'm gonna take our drum loop, which sounds like this. Okay, cool, cool. It's a vibe. I get it. But let's make it vibier. Okay, so you're gonna take your drum loop, then you're gonna pop the vocoder. The carrier's already set to noise. And then, you know, you can play around with these different parameters if you'd like. And then, but the main thing I play with around is just the balance between dry and wet. And so it'll sound like this. So this is without, and this is with. So you can start to hear the noise start to really come in. As you can see, I think it makes for a really cool, like this could be a great transition. Like imagine you're like building up to the chorus and you have, you know, or vice versa, building down from the chorus. I think it's just a really cool way to add some interest, color, and really feel like your different sounds are swimming throughout your mix. Okay, and then the last way, the last thing I want to talk about is using the modulator function within the vocoder itself. So using the modulator as the carrier will actually have the signal processed through the vocoder itself. So it definitely, you know, it gives you a unique little sound. So I want to show you guys that. So I just went ahead and created a quick like bass line, just using the bass, you know, notes from the chord pattern I made earlier. And I'm just gonna grab a bass, my favorite stock bass of all time. Where is she? Super Sub! I love Super Sub on Ableton. It's so, it has like some nice like upper harmonic information, which I'm like, such a simp for. Anyway, okay, so here's what it sounds like. You know, it's a bass. That's what it is, okay? But then you can take your vocoder, plop her on, where is she? Hi, okay. Set your carrier to modulator. It gives you an interesting sound. I don't know, I feel like this is cool to play around with. Again, another thing you can easily automate on or off, or like play with the balance for transitions. It can also just be a cool way to EQ out certain frequencies without using an EQ. If you wanted to, you know, retain more of the original feel of the sound, like keep its integrity, but still tuck away those frequencies that you don't need. In any case, I feel like it's worth playing around with. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited to do more music production tutorials because I love producing, and you know, I have a lot to learn myself, so I feel like doing this every week will motivate me to learn more so that I can be a better service. But yeah, hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Much love, bye bye.